Thanks, Doc.
I hope you guys have been practicing your glue stabs, or at least trying to. I hope to make these tutorials a bit shorter, so let's get right into this one. The last tutorial was the ultimate guide to glue. This one's the ultimate guide to the amazing level 4s. Since I've already done a video about 4.1, glue, I'll just add a tip to show you guys a new way to think about glue to increase your success rate. Because I see a lot of spies walking and strafing into the opponent to glue, but the opponent turns. This is fine, you need to stick like glue. It becomes a problem when the opponent keeps strafing, and the spy keeps following.
What the kind of player is this? Just holding W in my face.
When you glue, you need to be aware of where they're planning to go. All level 4s work this way, as you'll see later. You need to pay attention to where they're going into the future. You should aim to walk where they're backing up to, sticking to them on the way. Even as I strafe into him to glue him, I am still walking and facing where he's retreating to. I don't turn my mouse to look at him as he strafes to my side. That does 3 bad things. 1, it makes a circular strafe and could break the glue. 2, it can make it difficult to stab him if he crosses over. And 3, it can trick you into walking the wrong way for your glue. Some people may have been confused by my new term, artificial stab. I can help explain it by using an analogy. An artificial stab is like a chess gambit. When you play openings in chess, you make natural moves. You want to move your center pawns, you want to bring in your pieces before your queen, and you want a castle to move your king to a safe square. A gambit in chess is when you sacrifice a piece, any piece, to gain some sort of compensation. You don't naturally go for gambits and openings willingly without taking the time to study and theorize in your free time. Chess and spy are actually similar, in my opinion. I play both chess and Korean chess, changi. Slurky is like changi, where it's all about your ability to be skillful in the game to win. Spy is now like modern day chess. I think Hikaru Nakamura, a chess grandmaster, said it best when he says that chess is now completely theoretical. Openings are memorized and theory is used to win games, rather than how skillful your opponent is at using their pieces.
I did not ask if we were better at Go. I asked if Go is better than chess. Like, I would argue that in a sense it is, because theory is, like, the problem with modern day chess, in my opinion, is that there's too much theory now. Chess is not, it's not a game of pure skill in the way that it used to be. Until computers came along, there was a lot more scope for pure talent, pure intuition. Like, chess is a mix. You have to have intuition, you have to be very strong, but you also have to put in a lot of time preparing now.
When Colrolda dropped his knowledge bomb of a documentary, it changed Spy from a skill and intuition class to a completely theoretical class. If you were to teach a bot circle strafe stab theory, and it learned on it, it would be able to stab any player perfectly, better than a human can. Much like how computers today are taught chess theory and are now unbeatable by humans.
There we go. Ha!
Computers have very much mastered chess.
Older spies might not like this, but this is the direction Spy might go in the future. So, the 4.2 and 4.3 stabs. The tricky part about these two levels is that there's no definitive way to counter them. Spy mains have kind of bodged together a decent counter that works well enough and is mostly reliable. Players on 4.2 make exaggerated level 4 motions. He's showing the signs of a level 4, letting you pass and attacking from the sides, but he's managing to get behind you. He isn't 4.1 since he's not backing up. He's still going forwards. His strafes are so wide and are so exaggerated, it's actually impossible to get a managed matador on a 4.2 player. 4.3 only occurs during corners. A 4.3 strafe is when someone cuts a corner or jumps over props to cut corners. This way they can catch up to you because they're having to walk a smaller distance by cutting the corners. Since 4.3 strafes can only occur at corners, these players are usually another amazing level 4 when they're out in the open. Like I said earlier, the counters are bodged together. They work, but they're not that quote-unquote solid of a counter. It's more like a temporary solution to the problem. We're going to have to experiment until we can find a solid counter to these other amazing levels. And now, what do I mean by the counters not being solid? Well, let's see how you counter a 4.2. These players are just like the level 4s, except they make wide and exaggerated strafes to get around you. The solution? Just do an exaggerated level 4 stab. You see what I mean? It just seems like a temporary solution. When you go for this stab, by the way, you want to make sure that they stay in front of you the entire time. It'll seem odd, especially if you're used to normal level 4s where you let them get to your side, but it's actually because of the fact that their strafes are so wide. If you let them get to your side, they'll manage to get behind you, since they'll always be strafing wider and wider. Now, players on 4.3 are cutting the corners. so there's no way you'll actually be able to get the stab at the corner. You want to lead them to after the corner for the stab. As soon as you go past the corner, you strafe away a little to draw him away from the wall, which will lure the opponent to take the inside of the corner. Now, after that, it's a normal level 4. If you do this correctly, you'll be able to make it to the wall before the opponent does, and you'll be the one who ends up cutting him off. This isn't about timing. This stab is all about position. You want to do the stab at the right position, at the very end of the corner. Now, sometimes you guys are having difficulty with these stabs, and I believe that it may just be because of your mindset. Most of you guys are struggling to find out what level a player is on. Let's change our mindset to help find out what kind of level 4 any given enemy is on. This isn't a solid rule, by the way, as there are edge cases where there are props, health packs with the teammates, enemies, objectives, you're on a staircase, the list goes on. These edge cases will be explained in much detail later. For now, these players are on a flat map with no props to block in the way, only the occasional corner. That way we can start simple and work our way up to more complex scenarios. Here is our spy, or you, and here's the enemy. Remember how we talked about how level 4s like to move to a specific spot? Let's draw out the zone. Wait, but level 4.1s like to back up in any direction. So their entire zone looks more like this. And hey, the 4.2s are just an exaggerated level 4, so let's just exaggerate the level 4 to fit the rest of the unused space. These are the main zones for all level 4s, amazing or not. If you're fighting a player and you notice that they may be showing signs of level 4, you can find out what specific branch of level 4 that they are on based on what zone they tend to strafe to. Now, notice that it doesn't matter what direction you both are looking or what angle you guys are standing at. The only thing that changes is whether 4.2 becomes 4.3, and this happens if there is an obstacle obstructing the enemy, like a corner. This information isn't mandatory for stabbing amazing level 4s. It's like training wheels to help you recognize a player's level and advanced technique. Now, we're done with all the amazing levels that exist to our knowledge so far, at least. Again, this tutorial was to teach you how to think as a spy, not how to counter these players. I've given you the counter to all these levels earlier. The reason why I wanted to show you this diagram is because a counter isn't useful at all if you don't know when or where to use it. Keep this diagram in the back of your mind when encountering any level 4. Remember, practicing on real players is the best way to learn. Good luck and happy espionage.